There's a particular kind of pain that comes from being hurt by a parent. But there's a different kind of wound when your own sibling, someone who grew up in the same house, witnessed the same moments, chooses to stand beside the person who harmed you. For many survivors of family abuse, this is the betrayal that hurts the most. Not because it's louder or more dramatic, but because it quietly rewrites your shared history and makes you question your own reality. This isn't just a family conflict, it's a psychological survival strategy, one that leaves deep emotional scars.
You're not wrong for needing this clarity, and others aren't either. Like the video, share it with care, and subscribe if you want more psychology-based insights that center self-respect and healing.
Siblings raised in the same household often develop radically different emotional truths. Abuse is rarely consistent or evenly distributed. One child may be targeted, while the other is protected, favored, or simply ignored. Over time, each sibling learns a different lesson about what love, safety, and survival look like. For the child who was abused, the home becomes unpredictable and emotionally unsafe. For the sibling who was spared, or less targeted, the same home might feel tense but manageable, even normal. When those siblings grow up, they're not just remembering events differently. Their nervous systems encoded entirely different realities. So when one sibling speaks out about the abuse, the other may experience it as an attack, not on the parent, but on the version of childhood they needed to believe in to feel safe.
Children are biologically wired to attach to their caregivers, even when those caregivers are harmful. For some siblings, siding with an abusive parent isn't about cruelty or indifference, it's about survival. Aligning with the parent can mean staying emotionally or financially supported, avoiding becoming the next target, or preserving a sense of belonging in the family system. In dysfunctional families, loyalty is often rewarded more than truth. The child who complies, agrees, or minimizes the harm may receive approval, protection, or praise. Over time, that loyalty becomes part of their identity. Questioning the parent would mean risking abandonment, guilt, or collapse of the family structure they depend on. The fear of losing the good parent illusion. For siblings who weren't abused, or who were abused in subtler ways, acknowledging the parent's behavior can feel psychologically devastating. It forces them to confront a terrifying truth. The person who was supposed to protect us was capable of harm. This realization threatens their internal sense of safety, so instead they may deny the abuse, minimize its severity, blame the sibling who was harmed, or reframe the parent as doing their best. It's not always conscious cruelty. Often it's psychological self-preservation. If the parent is abusive, then the sibling has to grieve not just the relationship, but the childhood they thought they had.
In scapegoating and the role assignment trap. In abusive families, children are often assigned rigid roles: the scapegoat, the golden child, the peacekeeper, the invisible one. These roles help the family maintain balance, even if that balance is toxic. When one sibling is scapegoated, the others are subtly trained to distance themselves from that child. Agreeing with the parent becomes a way to say, "I'm not the problem." Over time, this creates an unspoken alliance between the parent and the compliant siblings. If the scapegoated sibling later speaks up, it threatens the entire system. Accepting their truth would mean admitting that the family structure itself was built on harm. For many siblings, it feels easier and safer to sacrifice the truth teller than to confront the system.
The betrayal cuts deep because siblings represent a shared reality. They are witnesses. When they side with the abusive parent, it can feel like your lived experience is being erased. Survivors often describe this pain as feeling gaslit on a family-wide scale, losing not just a sibling, but a sense of belonging, questioning their own memories and perceptions, feeling emotionally orphaned. It's not just disagreement, it's invalidation. When a sibling denies your pain, it reinforces the original abuse by suggesting that your suffering never mattered enough to be acknowledged.
Guilt, shame, and moral injury. For siblings who side with abusive parents, guilt often operates beneath the surface. Some sense that something was wrong, but acknowledging it would mean confronting their own inaction or complicity. That awareness can be unbearable. To escape it, they may double down, portraying the survivor as dramatic or unstable, accusing them of holding grudges, framing themselves as the reasonable one. This creates a moral injury on both sides. The survivor feels betrayed and unseen. The sibling suppresses guilt by rewriting the narrative, often at the survivor's expense. Many survivors hope that explaining the abuse clearly enough will finally make their siblings understand. But logic rarely penetrates defenses built on fear and identity. For siblings who depend on the parent emotionally, financially, or psychologically, believing you may feel more dangerous than losing you. So confrontation can lead to further invalidation rather than healing. This doesn't mean your truth is wrong. It means the system is still protecting itself.
One of the hardest lessons survivors learn is that healing may have to happen without family acknowledgement. Closure doesn't always come from being believed. It often comes from believing yourself. Healing can involve grieving the sibling relationship you hoped for, letting go of the need to convince others, building chosen family who validate your reality, and releasing responsibility for others' denial. Your pain doesn't require consensus to be real.
When siblings side with abusive parents, it's not just a family disagreement, it's a psychological fracture shaped by fear, loyalty, and survival. Understanding this doesn't excuse the betrayal, but it can help survivors stop internalizing it as a personal failure. You were not betrayed because you were wrong. You were betrayed because telling the truth threatened a system that needed silence to survive. And choosing to heal, even without their support, is not abandonment, it's self-respect. If this message resonates with you, if you've ever been made to feel wrong for telling the truth, pause for a second. Like this video so it reaches the people who need to hear it. Share it with someone who's been carrying guilt that was never theirs. And subscribe for more psychological-based content that helps you unlearn self-blame, reclaim self-respect, and heal without needing anyone's permission.